Which would be
5.
I believe.
You like 5?
V could also be 5, and this could be chapter 24.
You like 5? My favorite number 2. My favorite number 5. And my favorite number 16.
Alright. And let's go. Yerushalayim and the mountains, ravines, and streams. And I went from thence to the middle of the earth, and I saw a blessed place in which there were trees, with branches abiding and blooming of a dismembered tree. And there I saw a holy mountain, and underneath the mountain to the east there was a stream, and it flowed towards the mountain. Nope, I'm lying. There was a stream, and it flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain higher than this, and between them a deep and narrow ravine. In it also ran a stream underneath the mountain, and to the west thereof there was another mountain, lower than the former, and of small elevation, and a ravine deep and dry between them. And another deep and dry ravine was at the extremities of the 3 mountains. And all the ravines were deep and narrow, being formed of hard rock, and trees were not planted upon them. And I marveled at the rocks, and I marveled at the ravine. Yea, I marveled very much. I can imagine so.
Is like being in awe, right?
Yep, exactly right. Being in awe. And based on all of these things that Enoch was saying, I'm sure he would.
Would you be in awe? I would be in awe.
You wouldn't be in awe? What would you be?
In awe.
In awe, right? Like, just stuck. Like, being able to see it with your eyes, but yet your mind is still not able to conceive it or receive it. Like, it's just like, bro, I know what I'm looking at. Like, I know what I'm looking at. But, bro, I don't know what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, this is wild for real. Mountains on mountains and trees and gold and glitter and iridescent and crystal and fire, and it's just going, it's wild out here.
Glitter is crazy.
Enoch said, yeah, I marvel very much. I can imagine so. All right. The purpose of the accursed valley is the next chapter. And it says, then I, for what object is this blessed land which is entirely filled with trees, and this accursed valley between? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, this accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever. Here shall all the accursed be gathered together, who utter with their lips against Yahuwah unseemly words, and of his glory speak hard things. This is where all the disrespectful people are. Those who move as all
of the disrespectful people.
This is where those who move as an adversary to Yah are. Okay, so so here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment. In the last days there shall be upon them the spectacle of righteous judgment in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall the merciful bless Yahuwah Elohim, the eternal King. In the days of judgment over the former, they shall bless him for the mercy in accordance with which he has assigned them, their lot. Then I blessed Yahuwah Elohim of glory, and set forth his glory, and lauded him gloriously. Lauded. I've never look, both of us were like, lauded. I never heard that word. Let's see, look it up. Lauded means praised, highly praised or admired. So he praised him, highly praised him gloriously. All right. Now, next chapter, further journey to the east. And thence I went towards the east into the midst of the mountain range of the desert. And I saw a wilderness, and it was solitary.
A wilderness?
Uh-huh.
A random one?
A random wilderness.
I'm not saying that.
It would be crazy loud. Mm-hmm.
Heart was right off my foot.
Good? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And I saw a wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and plants. And water gushed forth from above, rushing like a copious watercourse. Okay, to the linguistics, copious. Watercourse, copious.
What is that?
Copious watercourse. Abundant in supply or quantity. Okay? Water with thick. Just kidding, guys. Rushing like a copious watercourse which flowed toward the northwest, it caused clouds and dew to ascend on every side. And thence I went to another place in the desert and approached to the east of this mountain range. And there I saw aromatic trees exhaling the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh. And the trees also were similar to the almond tree. Mm-hmm. We have some downstairs. I'll let you smell it.
That smells good.
And beyond these, but it's still okay. So the herbs that we have downstairs, right? Granted, they still smell, but they don't smell like it is like if you were at the tree. You get what I'm saying? Like an almond tree is gonna smell totally different than an almond that you got from Trader Joe's. It's just you can't compare the two, right? And so I'll let you smell it, but it'll be nothing like a frankincense tree, or you know what I mean.
It better smell good.
Right.
All I gotta say.
And the trees also were similar to the almond tree. And beyond these, I went afar to the east, and I saw another place, a valley full of water. And therein there was a tree, the color of fragrant trees, such as the mastic. Never heard of a mastic. It's a type of tree, obviously. It comes from a bushy evergreen Mediterranean tree. Guess what? Of the cashew family. Remember you said you were in a cashew tree? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's an aromatic gum or resin that comes from the bark. Comes from the bark of the tree. And you can smell it. And I did like this, moving my hands, because I know with tree bark, the gum from tree bark is like sap. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But gum though?
Yeah. And on the sides of those valleys, I saw fragrant cinnamon. Okay, this experience, yo, talk about aromatherapy.
Good night.
And beyond these, I proceeded to the east, because I like the way cinnamon smells anyway. And
cinnamon smells like choke.
Like what? Choke. And I saw other mountains, and amongst them were groves of trees, and there flowed forth from them nectar, which is named Sarara. Yes, Sarara, Sarara, and galbanum. I'm gonna look that up. Sarara, no content found. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna look it up on the web. Look up, search web.
It's not a word. Oh.
Sarara. What is the Sarara tree?
Iris Sarara gram. I'm just throwing names out there at this point. Uh-huh. That's pretty though. Change my middle name though.
Okay. You want to be Sarara?
Nyla Sarara Edward. That eats.
Nestled into a forest glade at the foot of Uargis Mountain, one of the 7 Samburu sacred mountains. I wonder.
What?
Okay, so this is an actual place, and it's talking about these mountains. It's in Africa, in the northern frontier district of Kenya. It's a wildlife conservancy, and you can visit. Hidden in the mountains in the deserts of northern Kenya. Okay, so all right, now this is just my mind doing what my mind likes to do. It's in Africa. Nor let me look and see exactly where Kenya is before I get to yapping. But here's what I'm thinking: Enoch could have very well been here because now he's in the earth.
In Africa?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying that's what you're saying. He could have been at the reserve.
At this reserve where this is, yeah. Kenya map. Yeah, he could have been. Obviously, it wouldn't have been a reserve then, right? Mm-hmm. But okay, so it's near the Indian Ocean, which would put it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now let me see a whole map of Africa. Yes, there's about a horn on the side. Okay, so in my brain, what my brain is doing right now, and I'm like, all right, bet based on what we're reading on Enoch, and he's talking about these mountains and he's talking about these trees, right? And we're looking up what these trees actually are. And it's telling us where they grow, right? And it's saying that it grows in Kenya. And it's not saying that it grows anywhere else. And so I'm thinking, okay, if it grows in Kenya and it doesn't grow anywhere else, one thing about our Abba, he's consistent, right? Everything that he says is, was, and forever will be. And so if this is where this tree grows, then that has to have been where Enoch was, because Enoch is currently in the earth, walking the earth. Our people come from where Asia and Africa meet, okay? That area. Some people like to call it the Middle East. Some people like to call it the Near East, whatever, right? And due to disobedience, we end up having to migrate south. You hear about it when we were conquered, captured, invaded, what have you, whatever language you want to use, about the consequences of our disobedience and our idolatry towards Yah, which forced us further down into Africa, which is how we even began to be in Egypt and stuff like that, right? And in West Africa before we were brought to America. Well, some of us were brought to America because I believe some of us are already here, but that's neither here nor there for this conversation. And so I'm thinking that Enoch was, Yah was showing Enoch, because he's showing Enoch our future, but obviously Yah's past, because he had already done it. So he's allowing Enoch to see these things. And so I'm just thinking, like, yo, if this is what Enoch is seeing, then I'm wondering if he was in Kenya. Could have very well been. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm about to look up, because it says Sarara and Galbanium, which definitely sounds like a type of tree or flower. I'm gonna look up a bitter aromatic resin produced from kinds of ferula, but I don't know what ferula is. It has to be a type of tree. Northern Iran, exactly, which is right on that area. See, this is what I'm saying. Our Abba makes no mistake. Okay, so galbanum is a popular fragrance ingredient. It is also bitter, aromatic gum resin extracted from certain umbelliferous furious. I know I'm butchering that. Asiatic plant species. Now remember, I just told you we come from the area where Africa and Asia kind of meet. You get what I'm saying? And this plant is an Asiatic plant, and the other one is of Kenya, which isn't too far from the area where we come from, which is dope. All right, now I'm back. So, and beyond these mountains, I saw another mountain to the east of the ends of the earth. Okay, the ends of the earth is what it says. Whereon were aloe trees, and all the trees were full of stacked. Steak. Yeah, right. But that could be how you pronounce it. I'm about to say.
Exactly. Somewhat, yeah, right.
But you were talking about steak, which is funny because you've never had it.
I had roast beef.
No, you've had some. You've never had roast beef either.
I had roast beef.
You've had what some people call salmon or salmon, contingent on how you speak. But I never knew why you called it roast beef. I've never given you roast beef, so I never knew why you would call it fish roast beef. And you were really like, Mom, I want some roast beef. I'm like, no, this is not roast beef. Why do you call it roast beef?
I don't know. Go back in time and ask little me that. I don't know.
All right.
I had roast beef though.
It says the
steak good. You had it before?
I don't remember.
You ever had a hamburger?
Was
it good?
Then
steak is good. That's what hamburgers are. Why is it called a hamburger if it's cow? That don't concern y'all.
Y'all, I don't eat that.
I'm just saying. All
right. So it's saying stocked.
Stocks?
Stocked. S-T-A-K-T-E. T-E is the pronunciation. Stocked. And it's the Hebrew word for it is nataf. Okay? And
Naphtali.
Naphtali. Okay.
Oh, no.
Our names, and it says they're names used for one component of Solomon's temple incense. Okay. So, specified in the book of Exodus. Variously.
Leviticus and Deuteronomy?
It was to be mixed in equal parts with, it says, seashell parts, galbanum,
seashells. I like
frankincense.
I collect shells.
And burn on the altar of the tabernacle.
They smell good. That's why they burnt it.
It says this incense was considered restricted for sacred purposes, honoring, they say Yahweh, Yahuwah. The trivial or profane use of it was punishable by exile. And it's laid out in Exodus 30, 34 to 38.
They was gonna kill you?
I mean, you walked into the temple and you weren't supposed to be in there, you're dead. And it wasn't that they were going to kill you. Y'all already had it set up, so you're dropping as soon as you walk in. The Hebrew word nataf means drop, corresponding to drops of water. And it says the Septuagint translates it as a oozing substance.
Oozing?
Mm-hmm. So it says it would be myrrh scented with benzoin as a possibility.
What is benzoin?
Another oil. All right, let's get back because you know how my brain will do. I be in there looking at all of that. All right, being like almond trees, and when one burnt it, it smelled sweeter than any fragrant odor. Okay.
Honey.
And after these fragrant odors, as I looked towards the north over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of choice nard. Spikenard is a. Oh yeah, it's cool. It's spikenard, and fragrant trees, and cinnamon and pepper. And thence I went over the summits of all these mountains, far towards the east of the earth, and passed above the Retherian.
What now?
I think it's Retherian or Retherian Sea. Let me look it up. It went far from it.
What now?
Okay. It's it includes the Gulf of Aden.
The Gulf of Mexico. That's the only Gulf I know.
It's related to the sea that in ancient geography comprised the Arabian Sea, the Red Sea, and the Persian Gulf. Is what? Do you have to?
I have to read that.
Be still. Merriam-Webster, according to Merriam-Webster. That's what Merriam-Webster says. All right. And went far from it and passed over the angel Zodiel. Remember, Yah sent him to the depths of the earth and the water. So this kid, I'm telling you, bro, Enoch was in Africa. Now I want to go. Because I want to see. All right, this is my last page, and then it'll be your turn, okay? And I came to the garden of righteousness and saw beyond those trees many large trees growing there and of goodly fragrance, large, very beautiful, and glorious. And the tree of wisdom whereof they eat and know great wisdom.
That's right, dude.
Thank you. The tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves are like those of the carob tree. Carob, definitely Africa. And its fruit is, because carob trees grow in Africa. Not only, but I think that's where they originate from. I think it's like and also probably over there in Asia too, I believe.
I like Asia.
Right. Let me see. Let me look it up. From the carob bean. Yeah, we know from chocolate. Okay, it's a small evergreen Arabian tree, which bears long brownish purple edible pods, also called locust tree. Yeah. That's what Enoch is? That's cool. And its fruit is like the clusters of the vine. Very beautiful.
Why you want him to be in Africa so bad?
I don't want him to be in Africa so bad. I think I want him to be in Africa so bad because I know that's something I can go. I can go see. You know what I mean? Like what Enoch is talking about to the extent of what it is now. You know what I mean? And it makes this word just that much more real to me. I like being able to find tangible things or artifacts. Well, artifacts are tangible, but just tangible things and tangible? Things that you could touch. If you could pick it up, that's what I said. Artifacts are tangible. And destinations that are still around. Like I know, all right, but if this is from Enoch being in Africa, I can go to Africa right now and go see.
Right now.
Well, not necessarily right this moment, but stop playing in real time.
I can fly.
Yeah. In real time, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, that just makes it, for me, it just makes it that much more cooler when I'm reading our Abba's word and I can look and find bits and pieces of it in, like, a museum where people have pieces of the Dead Sea Scrolls, or they have artifacts that have King David up there. You know what I mean? It's
Dead Sea Scrolls sound like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Mm-hmm. It does. And that just makes it cool. So that's why I'm like reaching for him to be in Africa right now. Mm-hmm. But it does seem like that's where he is. All right, bet. And his fruit is like the clusters of the vine, very beautiful. And the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. You can smell it from a mile away. Then I said, that's not what it says. I'm just saying because he said it's from afar. Mm-hmm. Then I said, how beautiful is the tree and how attractive is its look. Then Raphael, the holy angel who was with me, so he's not with Uriel no more, he's with Raphael now, answered me and said, this is the tree of wisdom, of which thy father, old in years, and thy aged mother, who were before thee, have eaten. And they learnt wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden. Wow. Wow. And from thence I went to the ends of the earth, and saw there great beasts, and each differed from the other. And I saw birds also differing in appearance and beauty and voice, the one differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth, whereon the heaven rests, and the portals of the heaven open. And I saw how the stars of heaven, or better known as we said, the Ahmein, come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed, and wrote down all their outlets of each individual star, or do you remember the Hebrew word for star? Or stars?
Yes, but no.
Kokofim. Stars. By itself, according to their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months, as Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, showed me. Okay? He showed all things to me and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their companies. Hallelujah. Glory to the Most High. All right, it's your turn to read
No.
Enoch's journey to the north. So
But
you,
my eyes are closed.
I told you.